They're a cancer, living in the street like dogs, begging for change. An absolute staple of the Futurevisions subgenre, and a kickstarter of the New World trend. Welcome to the Virtual Sampler, the show where I review Vaporwave albums and give my commentary on them. On today's episode, I'll be talking about I'll Try Living Like This by Death's dynamic shroud.wmv.
They're a cancer. Don't suffer in silence.
Oh yeah, I know I'm only on my second episode, but I'm frying the big fish here. This is an extremely experimental album. If you're new to Vaporwave, I suggest you dig a bit more and listen to some more entry-level ambient stuff like 2814 or Telepath's works first. If you're brave and have an open mind though, definitely keep going and give this one a try. This album is genius. It's an album that grows on you with every listen, and it's a masterpiece of sound design and manipulation. This went from a small noteworthy release to one of my favorite albums of all time, and I'll tell you why. This album is an emotional roller coaster, taking a seemingly calm song and corrupting it just when you feel it's about to stay within your comfort zone. Some people may think this album is just full of noise, but DDS does a great job at taking those noises and glitch sounds and making something beautiful, taking you by surprise on what emotion they can actually convey with those noises. I'll admit, this is the first DDS album I've ever listened to, and I can see that this is probably the best one they've ever produced, and dear God is it amazing. The samples used are downright dumbfounding, and the way they're used invokes a sense of wonder and exploration. I hate to say it, but I tend to stay on the less experimental side of Vaporwave. But this album has given me a hunger for more. Expect more albums like this on the show in the future. The titles of the songs give you a feeling like you don't have enough context to know what they were written about, but that allows your mind to wander and fill in the details. There's times where it's got a heavy industrial vibe to it, and the thick atmosphere entrances you and leads you down a path in your head not commonly walked. I know it sounds cliche, but this album truly made me feel things I didn't think I was capable of feeling. This album also has some echo influences, and oddly enough some vapor trap influences. Imagine that, this right next to Blank Banshee. This album doesn't feel like one I can show to many friends. Like I said, it's not an entry-level album. That said, I think this is one of the best albums Vaporwave has to offer, hands down. It is definitely a must-listen once you become familiar with the genre. Also, any album that can sample Sonic R and make me feel such strong emotions that I almost want to cry is a masterpiece in my book. No, seriously, listen to this. I'm not kidding. That's where the sample comes from. Well, I guess I have to thank Sonic R for once in my life. Wow. And now to the rating scale. The 4 categories are: listenability. How hard is it to get into? Does it take a lot of thought and effort to enjoy the music? Aesthetic. Pleasantness, unannoying use of samples, and how good the album art looks. Consistency. Does it sound like one album or is it a mess? And enjoyment. Personal enjoyment and opinion. Listenability, 4 out of 5. Most people would probably disagree with me on this, but I believe this album deserves a high score on listenability. I know there are some parts where it's straight glitch noises, but the way DDS uses them makes them charming. The use of them is not overdone and it conveys clear intent. I mark off a point since it's definitely not an entry tier album. Only seasoned Vaporheads will most likely be the ones enjoying this album. Aesthetic, 5 out of 5. This album hits the target perfectly. The samples and the treasure trove of genre influences mix well, and the rough sounds are used in a great way to enhance the experience. The album art is attractive in a list and it makes you want to click on it. Consistency, 5 out of 5. This album wouldn't sound right if you didn't play the tracks in order, or if you didn't play them along with each other. The album was truly made to be listened to from start to finish. It's very consistent. Enjoyment, 5 out of 5. This album has grown on me, and it's become one of my favorite albums now. I'd say it's in my top 5 Vaporwave albums, and in my top 10 music albums, period. Overall score, 4.75 out of 5. DDS has created a groundbreaking album that pretty much defines the somewhat new genre, Futurevisions. This is an album that I hold to the likes of Floral Shop, Birth of a New Day, and Blank Banshee Zero. Truly an album that will be in the Hall of Fame of Vaporwave art, and I'm not the only one that thinks so. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to support me, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, I have a Patreon, so if you'd like to send $1 or $2 per month to help me make these videos, link is in the description. See you next time.